This video is lesson 3732, where we use the equation of a line to find the gradient and the y-intercept. Example number 1 here is the basic type questions where you can quite clearly see what the gradient and the y-intercept are. So if we look at those two equations there, this one is already in the form of y equals mx plus c. So we know that m is equal to this number here, which is 21. So the gradient is m. The gradient is m, and the y-intercept is c. So I'm going to keep labeling them like that. And then c is equal to 1. Now this one here is slightly different, because you've got 14 first and then minus 8x next. So to help you, you can rewrite that and say it's y equals, I want mx first. So I'm going to put the minus 8x first, and then plus c, so the 14, which is a positive 14, next. So now m is equal to minus 8, and c is equal to 14, and again it's plus. So that's question 1. Question 2, we are told what the gradient is, and we are told what the y-intercept is. So we need to find the equation of the line. So you know that the gradient is m, the y-intercept is c, and we're looking at y equals mx plus c. So all you have to do is substitute m and c in. Y is equal to 10x plus 21. And the extra question here is, on question B, can you give the coordinates of the y-intercept? If I go back to an earlier question that I've used, we can see that the y-intercept here is 40, but to read off the coordinates, it's always going to be, so the coordinates for this point are 0 and 40. So the coordinates of the y-intercept will always start with 0, and then the y-coordinate is going to be the actual y-intercept. So based on that, our y-intercept is 21 from the equation here, from the sentence here. So the coordinates of the y-intercept is going to be 0, 21. And then finally, there are two questions here that are slightly more difficult, because the original equation of the line is not in the form of y equals mx plus c. So if I write out the first equation, so a is 5y minus 15x is equal to 35. What I'm looking for is rearranging this in the way that I only have y on the left hand side. So first of all, I am going to cancel the x's here. And I will do that by doing the opposite operation, so I add on 15x, and I will do that to both sides. So in the next line, you will write 5y is equal to, and then we've got 35 there, and there's going to be a plus 15x. I'm going to try and work already in a way where I want the x's first and then the number, so that I can have the mx plus c format. So I'm going to put 15x and then plus 35. There's only one tiny problem here now. I don't want to have 5 y's, I just want to have 1. So what we will do is we divide by 5. That's how I can cancel that 5. But then you need to be careful, because you must divide everything on the other side. So you divide the 15x by 5, and you also divide the 35 by 5. So now you will end up with y is equal to 15 divided by 5, that's 3x, plus 35 divided by 5 is 7. So from here, m, so the gradient is 3, And C, which is the y-intercept, is 7, which is from here. And then there's another one. If I write that one out again as well, we've got 3y equals x minus 18. Now, on this one, you've got only y's on the left-hand side, but you have 3 of them. So you need to divide across by 3. And again, as earlier on this question, you must divide every term on that side. So you divide the x, and you also divide the minus 18. Now, 3y divided by 3 is just y. X divided by 3, now I can write that as x over 3. And then minus 18 divided by 3 is minus 6. Now for this one, C is minus 6, so the y-intercept is minus 6. We can see that straight away. But x over 3 doesn't necessarily clearly show us what the gradient is. So rather than having x over 3, there's another way you can write this. Every time you have x divided by something, x divided by a number, you can basically multiply it by that number's reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 3 is 1/3. We've done this before. So instead of saying x over 3, we're going to write 1/3 x take 6. So from here you will see that the gradient, so m, is equal to 1/3.